If there's ever one thing you should learn from me, it is this. Everyone on the internet is angry all the time, and no one is having any fun. That has always been true, that always has been true, that always will be true, and I found this boiling hot take from someone on Reddit that I just want to share with you guys because I think it's kind of goofy. I'm not, like, trashing this dude, alright? I think his opinion is a little silly, and I think he goes really far with his, like, metaphors. But overall, I don't even totally disagree with him. But it's on the subreddit r/stopgaming, which is the whole subreddit about how video games will ruin your life, and if you play video games, the devil is gonna crawl out of your Xbox and kill you in your sleep. So this guy posts in all caps, it was a couple years ago, a reminder that gaming is not a hobby, it's entertainment. Which, yeah, I guess that is kind of true, depending on what game you're playing. That's what I mean when I say I don't totally disagree with him. If you're playing a game and you're just not having fun with it, you're just barely, like, just going through the motions, just doing whatever. You got, like, your phone on the side to, like, watch something else to distract you from the boring game. Then, yeah, that's not a fun game. That's a giant waste of time. You shouldn't do that. But if you're playing a really well-made game and you're really invested in it, and you're really enjoying yourself and interacting with the game, that, in my opinion, would make it a hobby. It's not just there to entertain you. You're going out of your way to play it because you like it. This guy is not of the same mind. This guy really, really hates video games. I don't know if, like, Super Mario, like, killed his family or something, but he really does not like video games. He says, I feel like this is an unpopular opinion, even on this sub. Gaming is not in the same category as hobbies. I've met bookworms, but there's no such thing as a book addict. Reading books, even fantasy ones, is a hobby. People don't disregard their health or hygiene and don't take showers because they've been reading Game of Thrones for 12 hours straight. Okay, so clearly this dude has never met a Game of Thrones fan, but the thing is, I fully agree if you're just, like, disregarding your health or hygiene and you're not showering, that's not good. You shouldn't do that. But also, let's be real, that dude wasn't... If you're not showering because you're playing too much video games, you aren't gonna take a shower anyway, man. You spent all night playing Valorant. It's not like you had stuff to do. That guy wasn't gonna shower anyway. You can't blame it on the game. That's preposterous. You're being silly right now. Of all the gym goers or members of martial arts clubs, even the guys most obsessed with their bodies, even if it's an unhealthy obsession, are doing just fine. No, they're not. They have an unhealthy obsession. You just said it. So they're not doing just fine. They got, like, a problem. You can't directly contradict yourself in your statement. Then he says they won't go to work or lie about their gym time because they have been working out. Well, yeah, because why would you lie about your gym time? I'm assuming what he means is people, I guess, will downplay. What I understand what this guy is, I think, conveying is that people will downplay how much they play video games because they don't want to admit that they play video games all the time. And people who go to the gym don't do that. But I think people who play video games probably hype up the number that they play the game for. I see people bragging all the time about how many hours they put into Stardew Valley. Stardew Valley? I got Stardew Valley confused with Valorant. They're very similar games. But people will brag about how much hours they put into Stardew Valley, or they'll post in their, like, Steam review. I played this game for 30 hours or something absurd. Well, 30 hours isn't that much, but the thing, you know what I mean. Who's downplaying how much they play games? Like, I don't think anyone does that. And then he says people won't lie about how often they go to the gym. Well, yeah, because why would you say I don't go to the gym and then go to the gym? That makes no sense. Why would you downplay how often you're at the gym? I could see the opposite. I could see being like, oh yeah, I'm at the gym every single day, and then just grabbing, like, a Big Mac and going home. I fully understand that. But no one's gonna lie and say they don't work out as much as they do. I guess if you were trying to flex, like, yeah, I'm just naturally just fit. But I don't know if that's very common. And then he says, this is the part that gets really weird. This is when the topic officially goes completely off the rails and into the ditch of insanity. Or he goes, gaming is in the same category as watching Netflix or gambling. Those two things aren't even in the same category. What do you mean watching Netflix or gambling? When was the last time you saw a Netflix show and suddenly your bank account was empty? When has that ever happened? That doesn't happen. I don't have Netflix, so I can't comment on the dangers of Netflix. I mean, I guess if a show really sucks, it could have wasted a lot of your time. And he says being a gamer is like saying you're a gambler or a Netflix watcher. What a horrible thing to be, a guy who watches Netflix, the most popular streaming service ever. And also, just he can't stop saying, like, this is just like gambling. No, it's not. You don't play video games and suddenly you have no money. That's not how that works. Unless you're, like, buying, like, microtransactions or something. I agree, you can lose a lot of money on video games if you, like, download Fortnite and then spend, like, $500 on fake dances. Like, if you pay a bunch of money to dance in a battle royale, you shouldn't have that money to begin with. You're financially irresponsible. But you can't blame the game for that they gave you the option and then you just spent all your money on it. That's completely preposterous. And also, like I said, 99% of games don't have microtransactions. Like, obviously, offline games, I mean, I guess some of them do, but generally they don't. And that's really the problem, is that he's generalizing gaming when it's just like, there are problems with gaming just like there are with, like, anything. Like, bird watching. If you're bird watching and you're just not having fun with it, but you just can't stop watching birds, I guess, if that's the thing, then you should stop it. But that's any hobby. But if you're watching the birds and you're like, oh man, that's a bird! Woo! This is the time of my life! Then keep doing it because it's fun. If you're playing video games and you're hating it, stop playing them. But don't say, like, it's entertainment, it's not a hobby. That's like putting down a thing that a lot of people genuinely enjoy. And then and then this is where he just completely loses any semblance of reality. He just completely dipped into insanity. He says it's not possible to have a passion for entertainment and dopamine dispensers. People don't have a passion for drugs. Drugs? You're comparing Super Mario to drugs? Obviously, there's the joke about the mushrooms. But this dude is actually saying that playing games is like drugs. It's not, because you actually have to interact with it. You have to put some effort into it, sometimes a lot of effort into it, in order to get the satisfaction of the game. And so that's not anything like gambling or drugs. That's such a far off comparison. I don't want to trash this dude. I don't want to trash anyone on this subreddit, because you can have your own opinion. Even if your opinion is a little bit out there, if it's a little wacky. But this guy is saying that if you're playing video games, that's like doing drugs and gambling. But it's not, like, at all. Like, I promise you, playing Toy Story 3 for the Nintendo Wii is not the same thing as going to Las Vegas. It's just not. The only game that I guess could be similar, maybe like Luigi Poker, right? From, like, the new Super Mario Bros. Minigames menu, where you can play poker with Luigi and blackjack. Then maybe it's pretty bad. But I don't think that that's an accurate comparison. That's really, and I don't want to say he's completely wrong. There are games that are absolutely horrible and that you shouldn't play. And you're just playing them because you have nothing else better to do. But that's not just games, that's any hobby. He mentions that, again, he says reading books, even if they're fantasy books, is a hobby. Why? Why is that a hobby and not reading the lines of dialogue in a story game? If anything, that's more interactive. You can interact with it more, and it becomes an actual creative thing because you're changing the game as you play it. You're affecting the outcome, whereas a book, if we wanted to get technical, you're just having info just force-fed to you. Obviously, I don't think that about books. I'm not trying to trash people who read just because I don't know how to, because I'm jealous. But the thing is, you can't go around saying that, video games are some horrible evil, and if you play video games even once, Kirby is going to show up and eat your soul. And then turn around and be like, well, books are the only real thing you can do. You can read books, and you can go to the gym and get an unhealthy obsession with the gym. I don't know. This was 4 years ago. I don't know if this dude still believes any of this. And I just think it's goofy that he said this. I think it's kind of funny. And a lot of people on the subreddit, actually. I'm going to say this and then I'll go. Most people on the subreddit seem to be pretty chill for the most part. But, like, every, 10 posts is just someone going off the rails and being like, yes, video games kidnapped my child and set my town on fire. Like, they're just going crazy. I don't know, man. I like video games. I think they're fun. I think that as long as you are not... If people say, he mentioned something about playing games 12 hours a day. That seems like a lot. But if you're really, really just loving the game and you're having a great time the whole time, that's not bad. I mean, 12 hours I think is a lot, but if you get all of your other stuff done for the week and you're just really passionate about this and you're really enjoying it, then go ahead, play that game. Do whatever you want. You know? It's not a waste of time if you're really enjoying yourself. And again, it's not like... I understand the complaint about a movie, because a movie is just something that you don't really interact with. You're just, like, sort of getting information beamed to your brain. With a game, you actually have to interact with it. And I don't want to diss movies either. I don't want to diss movies either. I'm just, you know, if we're being technical about it, video games would be more of a hobby. But I just think that overall, that's such an oversimplification of what maybe he had an issue with them, but most video games are not like what he's describing. And I think he's being silly. So if I ever find this guy in real life, rest assured, I'm going to tell him, you're wrong, and then I'm going to poke him in the chest. So, watch out, bub. You're going to get what's coming to you.